Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today, or rather tonight, we are doing a Harry Potter movie universe discussion stream. We are not, or we might compare some stuff to the books, but we're mostly going to be focusing on the movies, because who doesn't love the movies, you know? Anyway, before I get started, let's get the panelists in here. The first one is a newcomer to my stream, and let's scroll down here. Anyway, she does a lot of great work. I've seen her on a lot of podcasts. She does many on her own channel. Give it up for Lorena Creole.
Hi, everyone.
So it's always customary to give your channel a little plug before we get going.
Well, I'm Lorena Creole, and on my channel, I do spicy takes for sci-fi and pop culture reviews. And I also do a lot of, I call it salty Disney diva reviews, which I do about some things Disney. I'm on a lot of live streams, but the top ones that I'm on is Toxic Femininity on Mondays at 10 p.m. on Midnight's Edge After Dark. On Tuesdays, I'm on author Stephen Walton's channel for TR5 at 6:30. On Thursdays, I am on Justin Proper's channel at 7 p.m. for This Week in BS, 9 p.m. on Thursday for the Queen's Council, and that kind of rotates. Also, Saturdays at 7 p.m. for Rogue Entertainment on author Stephen Walton's channel, and I live stream on Sundays at 8 p.m. on my channel. And this Sunday, I'm actually having a 400 subscriber celebration stream. Welcome to Florida. It's going to be awesome. I'm so honored. All the people have gotten me to like 400. It's amazing. So we're going to have a great time. And I'm glad to be here to talk Harry Potter with all of you guys. So thanks for bringing me on the panel, Orange Hat.
Of course. The second has been on my channel a couple times, but now she's on an official capacity. Everybody, give it up for AFK Bard.
Oh, hello. Hey. Thanks for thinking of me as official. I'm here to hang out. I don't have anything to pimp, basically. I just like to hang in streams. I do some like Stranger Things reviews just for funsies. And if you're looking to just hang out or be my friend online, you can find me on Twitter at AFK Bard.
Nice. Mads, how you doing? I see Mads in the chat. Let's give her a
unmute myself. Hey, Mads.
Yeah, sometimes it takes longer for my thing to show up, but it probably shows up instantaneously on the video. Alrighty, now our next one, everybody knows her, loves her. She's a saucy kitty. She's known as Moira Kitty.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. I am not good at plugging my own channel. I am my own worst promoter. Like, if you know to come by my channel and say hi, that's totally cool. But I suck at advertising. I really do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like Miss Creole there, she's like, I can't follow that. Like, she's not like she's TV and shit. I can't follow that.
That's a lot.
Well, you still got a great channel.
Absolutely.
She does random stuff. She does real life stuff as well. She's a pretty good YouTuber, folks. Give her a sub if you haven't already.
So I'm going to sub right now, so I do not forget. I do not forget. If I don't do it now, I'm going to forget.
I do stuff all the time.
You know, we are also our last but not least, and you know what? Because Sean couldn't make it, we're going to bring in the ambassador as our next panel. Going to be the last.
Oh, Father Kadabra!
If my finger can actually tap the damn screen and have him brought in,
How did that even just
which
happen?
probably is about to kick him right back out.
Uh-oh.
Because is he on or is he not? Oh my gosh, did I accidentally remove him again?
I don't see him. He's
Yep, I did. Oh my god. I'm sorry about that.
There he is.
Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh god.
Congratulations, everybody. Dan's Orange is dead. Now I'm in charge. Now I am the Dark Lord.
Oh, you are, huh?
Greetings.
We've got the wand.
You don't need a wand if you're a real wizard.
I won't have
Great.
I won't have my wand
Very
until
true.
next month when I'm at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal. So
Oh God, I want to go there. Oh gosh,
I
want to go there.
haven't been in like 10 years. When I got there, they only had 3 broomsticks, the first ride, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and Honeydukes. And when we got there, Ollivanders wasn't quite up and running yet, so I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah. And for everybody who is not familiar with me, I am simply the ambassador. I cover pop culture, modern and retro. I do live streams. This is my umpteenth dozen stream with Orange Hat Reviews, and he is a great channel, as are these 3 wonderful and fabulous ladies to my left, your right. So if you have not subscribed to Lorena Clearl, who just hit 400 plus subscribers, get your butts in gear and do so. For Moira Kitty over here, subscribe to this awesome lady. And AFK Bard, follow her on Twitter. I know I do, and she's a hoot. She's a hoot and a half. And it looks like, hey, maybe my killing curse didn't work, but I put him in Crucio. That's one of the reasons Orange brings me on, is because he knows I can get
frozen. That's because I'm actually.
Oh dear.
But
Yeah, I'm frozen for a sec, aren't I?
yeah, more than a
Yeah,
second.
that's because I'm on another window and I'm using my Kindle, folks. But hopefully,
But yeah, and Mad's Mama Bear, he
All
did the killing curse and bounced back. So if you do not already subscribe to my channel, you can simply find me under the ambassador. If you find the knight, you have found me, and I have always been here. So, but yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here tonight. Truthfully, I mean, I am a huge Potterhead fan. Love the yes, Mads, Petrificus Totalis. Perfect. Yeah, we petrified Dan. I'm sorry, Orange. And to the chat, Thomas Gilkey, good evening, sir. Good to see you. Sorry you could not be here this evening. Hope you are doing
that's the
doing well. So, but yeah, I am a
Yeah, it's all right that people know my name.
Okay.
Giovanna does it all the time.
Well, I don't like to because, well, you're my friend, and I don't like to out my friends. But yeah, Harry Potter. I'm a huge Potterhead. I'm a Harry Pothead. Sorry, bad joke. Sorry.
I haven't heard it that way before.
Remember seeing every single movie in theaters. Loved the movies. Loved the universe.
Can somebody check the private chat for a second, please?
Yeah, just saw it. Do one of you ladies want to do it, or do you want me to? I don't care.
I'll do it. No problem.
Okay.
No worries. I'll do it. I got it.
So, but yeah, this is a topic that I am relatively well versed in terms of the movies, not so much the books, although I do have a few of the books. So, but yeah, honestly, it's Orange Hat's streams are
when it comes to the movies.
Huh? What'd you say, Orange?
I'm eidetic when it comes to the movies. I can remember every line.
I'm kind of that way myself. You're a wizard, Harry. So, all right, I'm going to shut down and let the ladies
Now
talk.
we are waiting for one person to come on in.
Yeah.
because I decided to extend a special invitation tonight.
Well, while we're
And then we
waiting,
will get this whole shindig started.
well, to have a little filler, I was showing the panel these or anything before we got started or anything. Lorena, this is mostly for you, but these, what I'm about to show you, are all vintage and they're all complete and they're all from the 77 line.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Made by Kenner, right?
It's Kenner. It's fun.
And
there.
oh, nice.
Got her blaster, got her cape.
Dang.
And
Got all the great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have enough room. I would have more, believe
Alrighty.
me.
And
I don't know how many.
Okay, folks.
Obi-Wan. Nice.
We got our
You got
special
Matt?
guest coming in. Yep.
So,
There she is.
Hey,
hey, Mads.
Hey there.
hey.
So
Thanks for
who's-
the invite. I was happy to listen in, but this is even better.
So,
Now we're-
how you doing, Matt?
Doing better. The day had a rough start, but
Yeah, Mads. Who's
Yep.
who's asked? Do I need to nuke? Give me a
honestly,
name.
I could give you about a good
Please.
dozen names, and it's all the same guy. Unfortunately, he
Good.
yeah, that's the
Send
sad
me
part.
DM me his names. Please come
Yeah,
on.
well,
I'm about to
All right.
exercise my ambassadorial authority
yeah.
and
Hit up my
annihilate
DMs.
his ass.
I'll send you a few screenshots that I've got of his stuff. I don't think any
Let
of
me
the
at it.
accounts are currently active.
Let me at him.
Yeah.
You don't mess with my friends.
And with that, let's get this shindig started. So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or in England, the Philosopher's Stone,
Mm-hmm.
however you prefer. How many have seen the extended edition? I know Lorena has.
Yes.
I have
Actually,
never had the opportunity.
I just watched it recently, actually. That was the weird part.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, one of the cool things I like about the extended edition, they actually show it on TV when they put it on different channels on public channels and whatnot, like
Mhm.
ABC and different ones. Put extended scenes in, like the deleted scene of Ron warning Harry about the mirror of Eris.
Mhm.
Sometimes they will actually put the scene where the Dursley woman, what's her damn name? His
Petunia.
aunt. What's Harry's aunt's name? I forget.
Yeah.
Petunia.
Oh,
Thank you. They actually have the one where she's cracking eggs and her letters are coming out of the eggs.
Uh-huh.
It's just
That was
hilarious.
so loud.
I thought
And
that
she's just
was
like freaking out, and then she sees the
freaking
elf.
funny. I'm just like, God, I love the extended edition. It was just something so
that could be
quirky
spam
about
that.
that.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Now, something in the lore movies later, there is a character in the movies and in the books called Nagini. It is Voldemort's snake, which happens to be of importance to him.
That snake.
There is a lot of speculation that Nagini was the snake in the zoo that Harry sets free. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's unlikely because it said it was the snake kind of pointed the sign and said it was bred in captivity. So
Mhm.
like
Yeah, I don't think it was
Telling-
Nagini. Not to mention, Burmese pythons, as best to my recollection, are not fanged. Nagini is fanged. So
And Nagini is also large enough to
Very
swallow a person whole, which we did see in one of the movies. And that's not the size of a Burmese python. Nagini's easily like 2 to 3 times the size.
so yeah, I don't think that was Nagini.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he asked.
Because I do
like,
believe
what
that
he thought
J.K.
from that.
Rowling actually said something.
What?
Say that again,
That's what I was saying. What did you say?
Myra? Say that again. I couldn't.
I asked what you said.
Say what you said again.
My God. The Burma part?
Oh, well, you were saying something. Yeah.
Oh, you were saying that you were asking if they were the same snake or not. And when he asked if the snake was from Burma, that's when he indicated that he was bred in captivity. So it would indicate he was 2 feet of snake,
Yeah.
I would reckon.
Yep. Because there was a fan that actually asked about that, and they actually wrote JK, and JK's like, it might have been, and I'm like, are you seriously just trying to give hope to somebody? I mean, that just would be such a mislead. Because, first off, the snake sounded male, and we all know that Nagini is female. I mean, well, I don't want to upset the delicate SJWs. Did you just assume a snake's gender? But still,
yes, you did.
it was very clear. It was very clear that snake was male.
Actually,
It was very clear
according
that snake was male.
according to the snake is female. Nagini is female, and she's a reticulated python.
She was in the Fantastic Beasts, wasn't she? She was a snake in captivity, and played by a woman. Super nice looking lady too.
She's a maledictus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a maledictus. Now, Nagini, yes, is female. I was talking about the one in the zoo. That's male.
Oh yes, the one in the zoo was male. Sorry.
But yeah. Yeah.
So
Now,
in the more words of
How
Indiana
are-
Jones, I hate snakes.
I like them. They're good huggers.
yeah. Now,
Snakes are cool. Just depends on what kind they
one
are.
of the things, one of the things that they didn't actually touch on until the second movie was during that whole time where he's asking this or talking to the snake, he's actually speaking English. He's actually speaking parcel tongue, which is interesting. Now, then it's like, who would not notice a kid just speaking all sorts of hissing sounds while they're walking by, you know?
Well,
It was one thing that I wonder.
Well, depending. Oh, Maura, you want to go ahead? Because I see your hand raised.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't trying to cut anyone off. Well, at that particular scene, if I recall, there wasn't a whole lot of people that were actually standing near him. He was actually by himself for a few minutes. And most people aren't going to be like going up next to him and like listening to what someone says. And probably they assume the kid was just making weird hiss noises, just the same way we go meow at our cats when they talk to us. They probably wouldn't have thought much of it, really.
Because that's my thought exactly.
Thought anything of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking. It's like, it's a kid. He's probably just imitating, the sounds that the animal makes. They're just fascinated. Nothing to see here, no big deal.
Yeah, at that moment, everybody had left him, and he was by himself. And he was like, "Yeah, sorry about it." The snake indicates he understands. He's like, "Do you understand me?" And that's when his obnoxious ass cousin comes back and goes, and knocks him aside. And
because his cousin was just like, "This is boring. He's boring."
Right there, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, besides, a kid that age, it's amazing what they can get away with. My daughter can wear a full superhero get up to the grocery store, and everybody thinks it's cute.
Yeah, if I do it, everybody's going to tell me I can't come in.
And yet, if I had done it when I was a kid, everybody would have looked like he needs help. Go ahead, Orange.
Now, there is one small conflict of realism that actually does conflict with how, or with the whole concept of talking to snakes and whatnot. Because if you know snake anatomy and have done research, snakes are effectively deaf.
Mhm.
They can't hear
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah.
So when I learned this, and I'm like, well, that just ruins the whole mythology for Harry Potter, because it's like, how can you talk to a snake when it's deaf?
It's called suspension of
And it was
disbelief
just
or
so
magic.
fucking hilarious.
I think that the snake must read
Go.
lips.
Moira?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can fix it for you. Okay, so
Yeah.
they sort of hear. They hear through vibration, which is what sound is. So the snake very well could have heard the vibration of against the glass or whatever of what he was saying and understood.
Mhm.
I was going to make a similar point, so yeah.
Damn,
So
that's
that was
actually a
Harry
good
Potter
scientific answer.
for you.
Well, and if you remember an episode of The Simpsons where it's whacking day and they have Barry White attract the snakes to the house, basically they just use strong vibration. So, yeah.
Oh, come on, that'd work
Well,
for a lot
not
of
really
people.
a Simpsons
Barry White
fan,
started singing. So.
Yeah, I know. That man has got this. Okay. I'm secure enough of my masculinity and my sexuality to say this. That man has one of the sexiest voices in the world.
I don't think there's any question with that. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I can say Megan Fox is gorgeous. You know. Because it's true.
Yeah. Now, here's another little interesting question for you all. What specific breed of cat is Professor McGonagall's animagus form?
I think it's a breed of tabby.
Yeah, I think it's. I think Moira's right. I think it is a breed of tabby. I'd have to get a good look at it. Hold on one second.
I have to check because I don't remember.
Scottish something fold or whatever.
It just looked very unremarkable. I mean, it wasn't like
Actually,
something
it
obvious like a Siamese
very-
or something like that.
No.
I don't remember.
Its markings do somewhat give it away, though, if you know your cat breeds.
Well,
How's it going,
Yeah,
ABC?
that's the thing. I'm drawing a blank on the cat breed.
And size.
Because I would say that she's a Mao.
I can't remember what those look like.
Well, let's see. Google is your friend, so
According to this, it was a tabby.
She looks like a tabby, but it's just. I mean, she has the markings in the front. There's usually that one that kind of looks like an M. Because I own a tabby that's more. Hers is more gray.
Yeah.
Mine is more brown, but they have that distinctive mark in the front. And then their markings on their body, it can vary from stripes to like thicker bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at a picture of a tabby, and there's a picture of her as a cat right next to it, and they are very close. So I think it was a tabby, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
those are some very distinctive lines, but yeah, that's tabby. Looks like it might have a bit of British short hair just from the face shape. Because that's a very wide cat face. That's wider than your American short hair.
Yeah, usually British short hairs or British cats. They look like somebody smashed them in the face with a frying pan. That's what I call it.
They got that. I've had two British short hairs. They're very wide, very stocky. Think like an English bulldog, just cat form.
Now, for everybody in the panel, who was your most or your least likable character in the first movie?
Oh, that's easy.
That's too easy.
Yeah. Oh, Malfoy.
I don't want to be that person that everybody hates, but I really didn't like Ron. So there you go. He annoyed the crap out of me.
He was whiny. I'll agree with you there. Although that character that that I didn't like him, but the fact that I didn't like him said how good of a character he was, and that's Professor Snape. I did not freaking like him.
I will
But
throw
it
a
was-
hot take
yeah.
in it. I will throw
Okay.
a hot take in it because in the beginning, Hermione, she was kind of a bitch.
Oh yes, she was.
I
I understand why.
You know,
I
kinda
totally get why, because very, very smart people can have some lousy ass people skills. And it takes a
I would
certain
agree with
type
that.
of friend to kind of, get together with them. It's like, no, they're not really all that bad. But to everybody on the outside, they're just like, they're freaking
Yeah, it's
stuck up
hard.
know-it-alls. I don't want to deal with
Okay.
She's a
Okay,
bitch.
I'm gonna say there'll probably be a general consensus about this. Ron, you can tell him to shut up because he is annoying. Hermione, you just kind of ignore because she was kind of bitchy. Snape, you do a curse on him and you make him silent. But Malfoy just has a face that you want to punch repeatedly. Or turn him into a ferret, or turn him into a slug, or turn him into a cockroach and then smash him.
Maybe I'm bad, but Malfoy didn't bother me, really.
I hated
Alright.
Malfoy.
Malfoy was a
I mean, he
Okay,
cost Hagrid the dragon.
But
All right,
we're talking about the
I
first
blame
movie
his
here.
parenting. I blame his parenting.
We're talking about the first movie here. So
Draco
Draco didn't really start to get to the point where I started to really hate his ass until like the fourth movie.
Oh, for me, it was the third movie. Or no, actually, it was the second movie.
For me, the third, it didn't. The second one, not so much. But around the fourth, that was just when it snapped, and I'm just like, God, I freaking hate this kid.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and most everybody knows I don't cuss. Draco is just like his father. He's a dick.
And say, I like Lucius Malfoy.
I
love Lucius Malfoy. I can't put my finger on why, but I do. It's like,
I think you like the bad
You're a
boys.
Slytherin, though.
I think so.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah, I am.
The Malfoy, except for maybe the mother. The Malfoy family is a bunch of dicks. And
They're supposed to be. They are purebred stuff. Upper class a-holes. They're supposed to be that way.
Okay, I don't know. I'm sure there are people in this
who are purebred, but they're completely different.
Well, I'm sure there are people in here that are far more well versed in Potter lore than I am. But I'm sure there have got to be some pure blood or purebred wizards that weren't dicks. But that's
the Weasleys. The
Serious.
pure blood.
Most of the ones were
Sirius Black's family.
Taken out of no, actually, only Sirius Black in that case. His brother was Regulus was kind of a closet good guy, but generally the non-snobby ones were the ones that were blacked out on the family tree.
Yeah. Well, of course, he had a wacko cousin or whatever.
Yeah.
With
Actually, they were the ones that were.
Mm.
Sirius Black's
the movie
family tree was.
Because Elihu, he didn't know any spells. He had been raised outside of the wizarding world all his life. He didn't know jack.
No, and there wouldn't be any reason for the 7 movies,
Well, I don't know. Do you consider a spell to make your broom fly? Is that following kind of?
It's your own
It's pretty
magic.
good.
It's your
right?
own magic.
Yeah, just up and.
I mean, kind of. It's low grade, but he did it successfully. Got on the team. I mean, I can't make a broom.
Well, there is one.
He had one going from it.
The way I actually answer that is he did, just not with his wand. Because there is deeper magic that is later explained by Dumbledore, which, my gosh, I miss that actor so much. he was actually the better Dumbledore, in my opinion. But he passed away, sadly, before he could get into it.
I'm sorry. I like them both. Richard Harrison was a great Dumbledore in the first two movies, but I think Michael Gambon really brought something to the Dumbledore that we got to know with movies 3 through 6 and everything.
8 or 7.
Yeah, well, 7.5. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
But
so
one of the things is Dumbledore does explain that that magic doesn't always just come from wizards. I mean, I don't think he actually explains it saying that outright. But basically, when he's questioning Harry at the end of the movie, do you know why Professor Quirrell couldn't bear to have you touch him? It was because of your mother. She sacrificed her life, and that act leaves a mark.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of mark can't be seen. It lives within your very skin.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of magic is very ancient, as Voldemort says in the 4th movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that is not willingly used. It's an involuntary magic, so to speak, because it's actually cast on the bearer, it's always in constant use. Mm-hmm. Now, there are ways around it, or as we all know, but it's still a double-edged sword when it comes to that. Now, another great actor that sadly has passed on after the Harry Potter movies were done, and he was also a doctor from Doctor Who, Ollivander, the actor that played Ollivander.
No,
what did you guys think of him when you first saw him?
Oh, yeah, it's John Hurt. Never mind. Yeah.
That's John Hurt. I honestly, I liked him. From that first moment, he's like, yeah, maybe not.
Well, let's just be candid here. Yeah. Anytime you have John Hurt in a movie, he's going to bring it. This man was a top-notch actor, regardless of what project he was working on. And even though we don't get much time with him in the Harry Potter movies, the little time we get with him, not to be punny here, was magical.
Well, honestly, I really did not know who he was. I did not know who the actor was, but it speaks to his acting talent that he was able to be so likable so quickly. I just saw him as the quirky guy in the wand shop whose job is just to make you feel welcome and to get you the wand that was meant for you. And that was a sentiment that came across. I had no idea who this guy was. There were so many actors in this movie that I knew, most of that I didn't know, but that's something considering I didn't know that was John Hurt.
I didn't realize it was.
I didn't know. I had no clue.
I knew he looked familiar, but I couldn't place why.
The only actress that I knew was Dame Maggie Smith. That was it. That was it. And that's all I cared about, really, because I love her. So I was like, yeah, she's in the movie. Heck yeah, I'm there,
She is sassy.
I love her. Love her.
I will say this. Harry Potter definitely had an ensemble cast. I mean, John Hurt, Absolutely. Richard Harris, what was his name? The one that played Hagrid.
Robert Contrail.
Robbie Coltrane. You also had Coltrane.
Mm-hmm.
Coltrane.
Whatever.
But anyway. Yeah. But anyway, you also had Mark Davis, who played Professor Flitwick. And Snape.
Alan Rickman. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. R.I.P. I can't believe I forgot him. I love him.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Hans Gruber.
I know it.
Best villains ever.
I couldn't believe it.
They just did it.
Sorry,
they had so many great characters for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, of course, because this was a franchise that was well liked. This was a franchise that had become very well known by 2001. Everything in terms of the books, and everybody and their mother wanted to be a part of it because they knew that with the first two movies, you had Chris Columbus directing, and I'll say it for Chris Columbus, he did a good job. Chris Columbus is honestly one of my favorite directors. He really is. And of course, you had a rotating door of directors come through with the other movies. But for the first couple of movies, Chris Columbus did a good job of setting up the world, setting up the characters, and getting this franchise off on the right foot.
And the third movie, Alfonso Cuarón did a wonderful job directing. I love his work. Alfonso Cuarón, I believe he's Mexican, but he did a movie called Imama Tambien. It's Spanish language movie. His directing on the third one is, I loved it. It was a different turn than the other two.
I thought Guillermo del Toro did the third movie.
He did not. He did not. He didn't. It's Alfonso.
One thing I will say.
Okay.
I will save my critique for the third movie stream. But one thing I will say that I did not particularly like about the third movie was they changed the grounds to Hogwarts. That was something that totally, it's like, wait, why are the grounds different? Because if everybody remembers, the trip to Hagrid's little house or hut was straight across the lawn, basically. Where in the third movie, you're going down a humongous hill. And it's like,
I'll have to look at that.
It just makes a person wonder.
Because I've seen the first three all together. But yeah, I'll say that for that sometime.
I think that they might have done that.
Go ahead.
I think they might have done that because, like, in the first movie, it was just like, it was a very simple, they're focusing entirely on Harry. And, like, as the series, like, when the series continued, they were more authentic to the book. Because if you remember the book, like, they walk a while to get to Hagrid's place. And it's like, it's not as simple as it was in the first movie. Okay. And I feel like they were trying to do that, like, to create the world more.
That's interesting, because even watching it, I didn't get as jarring of a feeling about that. So that's something I'll have to go back and check out.
I'm chuckling because there's a comment in the chat that is exactly what I was thinking.
Which comment?
The staircase is moved, so why not the grounds itself?
Well,
there's not enough money in the special effects book to do that.
I mean, they even got a tree that moves. Come on.
You know what?
Yeah.
There's a difference between a tree. I put on my tech hat here. There's a difference between animating a tree with CGI and changing the whole landscape in terms of money.
Maybe they do it during the summer when everybody's away.
we don't
up a bit to keep the kids on their toes.
But that's actually pretty cool. I would love to have seen that.
Well, Elijah Hernandez had another answer to spell by Dumbledore.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead.
Possibly.
Whole train, so.
Another interesting thing that actually, when I read the books, and this is a slight comparison between the books and movies. I know I'm not going to do too much of that, but there is this one comparison that I do want to put is when Harry, Ron, and Hermione get caught out of their dormitories after hours, and then they get detention. It's not, or I don't think it's Ron that actually is with them. Or I believe Hermione is there, but who remembers who the actual kid
Neville
that was with them in detention?
Right?
Neville on bottom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's such a tattletale.
Yeah, tattletale sitting on an ice cream rail.
Well, no, I think he was going to tell on them, and she, like, tased him, basically.
In the movie, that happens near the end, where she uses the Petrificus Totalis, the petrification spell, or the freezing curse, or whatever they wish to call it. But anyway, I thought that was interesting, and that's actually something that my aunt is like, yeah, that's different from the book. When I was watching the movie for the first time with my aunt, she's like, this movie is good, it's exciting and whatnot, but it's just so different from the book. And I'm like, well, stop comparing it to the book. It's that simple.
See, I did not read the books. I saw the movies first, and the movies were so good and so detailed. I'm like, well, the book must be absolutely freaking amazing. And that's when I went back and tried to read the books, but I never finished them. But the movies were so awesome, they made me want to read the books. You know?
It was similar for me. They had put out the first, I think it was the first 2 movies before I had actually read the books. But yeah, I binge read from there. I mean,
yep.
I got book 7 the day of.
Yeah, day it came out. Yeah, I was the same way. Well, and you know, one of the great things about these movies is they came out at a time when we needed entertainment like this, and specifically this first movie came out at a time when we as a nation needed something like this. We needed escapism, and this was a great series of movies that gave us that escapism. And honestly, I remember quite vividly and quite fondly going to see this film and everything because, okay, I'm just going to say it. I am a son of nerds. My mother, my father, my grandparents, all nerds. I'm just the next in the line. And when we heard about this, me and my mom and everything, we're like, we got to go see this. And we walked out and we're like, okay, when's the next one? Because we were hooked. I mean, we didn't have time to read the books, but honestly, going to see this in theaters, I remember it to this day. We were like, this was so good. It was so imaginative and so original and all those things. It really speaks to the inner child in all of us. I mean, you can identify with Harry. You can identify, honestly, with a lot of the main characters. Yeah, even though we've called Hermione kind of a bitch.
I'd say she's more snooty than a bitch.
Yeah, because it can come off that way. Again, if you are a really, really smart person, especially that young, when you're not really self-aware of how you affect other people, you can come off like that when all you want to do is just prove, hey, I'm smart, I know what I'm doing, and I just love to learn. But other people can see it as you're just a stuck-up know-it-all and stay away from me.
See, that's why I like Hermione. Because I go back and watch and like, maybe I should.
Because I can totally identify with that. Identify how she is.
Yes.
I absolutely 100% get it with her.
Did anybody here? Oh, sorry. Did anybody here read the books before the movies?
Didn't have chance.
I guess I'm the only one.
yes, and no.
I just
read some of the books before the movies came out, but yeah.
I didn't. I worked with some people who were reading the books, and after I saw the first movie, and I think Goblet of Fire came out, after when that first came out in print and people I work with got it, I said, you tell me what happens, I will kill you. Do not spoil this for me. I need to sit down and read the darn book. And I think I read like halfway through it, and then the darn movie came out. But I was just like, don't tell me, because I don't want to know. I wanted to force myself to read before the movie came out. But like I said, that didn't happen. But people were just like engrossed with the books.
Yeah, I was like the super nerd who literally stood in line each time to get the book, and I would literally read the book like straight through in like a day and a half, and I wouldn't talk to anybody until I finished. And I was super hardcore because like I hated spoilers.
I know people who would take the book, go out to their car, and read it during lunch so they would not be bothered, and then come back to work. It was awesome.
Oh my god, yeah. No, when I was reading book 7, I kid you not, this literally happened. One night I was 3/4 of the way through. So I said goodnight to my roommate, and I'm like, I'm just going to read a chapter or so. Well, chapter left on a cliffhanger, so I had to read the next one, and went on and on. And next thing I know, she's saying, "Good morning. Have you been up all night?" No.
Yeah.
I finished the book.
Nice.
Well, as I was saying, there is a character in this movie that we all can identify with. And that's one of the really endearing things about this story, about these movies and everything. And I know we're just focusing on the first movie tonight, and you know what? But I honestly could identify with Harry for the simple fact that, as well, not everybody here may know, but some people may, I am an adoptee. So I didn't have a tie to my biological parents. I had my parents, the parents I had known all my life. So when Harry had that realization and everything, granted, I found out about this after all the movies were done with, but going back and looking at Harry's reaction to finding out that his parents were wizards and very well respected and very powerful wizards, I could identify with him in that moment. And even before I knew I was adopted, I could identify with him feeling like he was an outsider, because I think all of us here have felt like that at one point or another in our lives.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, part of
No.
what I loved about Hermione was, like, let's face it. I'm going to say most because I'm not going to say all. But most people, if they find out you're suddenly going to be going to a school where you're going to learn all sorts of magic spells, what's most people are going to do? I know I certainly would. Grab every book you can that's recommended and read the ish out of it. Learn as many spells as you can, just because you're learning magic. Hermione makes a lot of sense when you think about it like that.
She does, and you know what? You bring up something that I loved from the first movie that Hermione did, and I just thought was just hilarious. When she's going home for Christmas, and Harry and Ron are stuck there, and basically she says, I got something for you guys to do. You need to go back in the library and look for information on Nicholas Flamel. And they're just like, but we looked all over the place. She's like, not in the restricted section.
Not in the restricted
Happy
section.
Christmas!
Yeah.
And I just laughed. I just thought that was freaking genius. I really did. I really did. I love that she did that. That was like her character in the moment where I'm just like, you know what? I like how crafty she is.
I will say one thing that I liked about Hermione, and especially Ron's reaction to it, was when they were in the library and she's like, I can't believe this. How could it be so stupid? She just slams this humongous book. I checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading. And Ron is like, this is light.
And the dust flies off the book.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, man. It was just so freaking hilarious.
It was.
And yeah. Now, another thing that they actually don't really talk about, and they actually forgot to put it in Fantastic Beasts, was Nicholas Flamel had a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody remember that from the or from the book?
No, because I never read the book.
It's been a long time since I've read the book, but yeah.
Because when she's reading the little thing about the Sorcerer's Stone and Nicholas Flamel, it was talking about last year he celebrated his 656th birthday, and his wife's celebrated her. I can't remember her exact age, but
2 seconds.
He apparently was sharing the elixir with his wife, with another, and it was something that was pretty interesting to me. And so let me ask you guys this. How do you like, or which Voldemort design do you like between the book, year 1, and then year 4 when he's revealed to look a little different than he did in year 1?
I like the one without the nose. It looks creepier. Like the one he's on the back of dude's head, and he's got a nose and everything.
That was creepy.
That's too much. That's too extra.
Yeah.
Obviously, just speaking for myself, I preferred year 4. I preferred when we had Ralph Fiennes as Tom Riddle.
Voldemort.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tom Riddle. I liked that design. And now, don't get me wrong. The design we had in the first movie, it was good. It was fine and everything. I will say this. Obviously, the CGI has not aged that well, unfortunately, unless they've done a redo that I'm not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, for the first movie, it works. It works fine. So,
And I will totally agree on the. I really don't see that there's a major difference between the two of them, because the one he was a parasite, so it wasn't a fully formed face anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, Ralph Fiennes and the fabulous team who did that makeup artist who did that makeup. I mean, they killed it. That he was terrifying.
Yeah,
But I did find what you were looking for. At 665 years old, Nicholas and his 658-year-old wife, Purnell, certainly make use of the elixir. But having lived more than 6 centuries in the wizarding world, they favor a quiet life.
I can respect that.
Yep.
Well, I haven't. I still have to watch the rest of the ones. I'm just finishing up rewatching movie number 3. But for Forms of Voldemort, I vaguely remember him from the other ones. But the one that's actually the most creepy to me is just him as Tom Riddle in Chamber of Secrets, because he looks freaking like anybody else. Nothing remarkable really about him, and there's just something about that just creeps me the heck out. It's scarier. It's scarier to me than him in all of his evil glory, so to speak. In the later movies, it's just something about it, because every time I see the scenes where Harry's there with Ginny and he's there and it's like he's right there. It's like Voldemort is right freaking there, and you can't see it. It's just that's just creepy. I love it.
The age for me that was most unsettling was the one from the Memories, where he was learning about Horcruxes. That whole scene. I mean, he was at an age where, like, you talking
Young and
about
impressionistic.
seriously. This is very disturbing that you're talking about this so casually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
the actor that they had play him in the 6th movie was actually very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and something else I'll bring up about the first movie, the creatures. I loved the creatures. I loved, you see the unicorn, even though it's dead, and you're like, oh, yeah. I think this is the second unicorn I actually ever felt bad for actually seeing dead. And I think the other one was in a Legend.
Mm-hmm.
But Fluffy,
save that one.
Fluffy, the 3-headed dog. Loved Fluffy.
That was freaky. That was freaky. I love the little oh god, I'm like blanking on what they are, but the ones at the bank.
The goblins.
Goblins at the bank. I freaking love them. They were just so creepy, cute yet creepy at the same time. And they all had the same just very business-like attitude and snarky as hell too. But I really did like them. I really liked how they rendered them.
Yeah. And Mongo's big thing, the troll.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
I did not expect it to look
like
Troll in the dungeon. Troll in the dungeon.
I am totally.
Okay.
I am totally with I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your name. Elfilo Hernandez. Cute puppy. Like I showed. This is I actually watched it recently because I showed it to my daughter. Mm-hmm. Finally introducing her to Harry Potter, got her to fill out her Pottermore ID, the whole 9 yards.
Mhm.
And so my girl, she fell in love with Fluffy as soon as she saw him. She's like, if that actually existed, could we have him? Yes.
Well, and, you know something. This is a question I think everybody in the chat can probably, or this on the panel can answer. Which was the better troll, Harry Potter in this movie,
Mhm.
or Fellowship of the Ring?
Crap, I don't even remember Fellowship.
I gotta go with Fellowship.
I have to go look at that again.
I
And you
I
I
call
liked
yourself.
Fellowship because Fellowship was.
Go ahead.
Fellowship
the one in
was
Fellowship, honestly,
was bigger.
because it was more
menacing.
serious. It wasn't campy.
Yeah. The one in the first movie, it was visibly intentional not to scare kids. It was a little cartoony.
Yeah, I could see that. And you know, here's the crazy thing. Does anybody remember that they actually did a toy line for the first movie? I think they stopped at like the third movie, maybe. Is when they stopped doing the toys, but they did a toy line. You could actually buy the troll,
Yes.
the troll action figure.
I remember you could purchase the train set. My nephew wanted it.
Oh, well, you know, and you know, this is a franchise that, believe it or not, has had longevity in terms. I don't want to get off on a big thing. But I'll just say this briefly. This is a franchise in terms of like merchandising that surprisingly has had longevity in various forms. I mean, you've got the Lego game and everything for Harry Potter. You've had like high-end collectibles, everything like the wands and so on, and other merchandise. But this is a franchise that has been had surprising longevity in terms of merchandising, even though the merchandising's been limited. But I think they learned what the fan base wanted.
And of course,
And they
the largest piece of merchandising that they have, which is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in Orlando and in Hollywood and in Japan. That in itself was absolutely huge, because the first time that I stepped into that, I felt like I was in the books, starting with the first book, and all I kept recalling was the first book, the first movie, walking through there, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and well, and, you know, the great thing about this is, regardless of your age, this is a franchise that you can return to or introduce to your children or grandchildren or nieces or nephews or whatever.
Absolutely.
And more often than not, they're going to find something in it that appeals to them. This first movie really jump-started a lot of careers, if you want to look at from that aspect as well. In the manner of speaking, I mean, let's be candid here. Every actor or actress that was a part of this franchise, whether it was major or minor, they made off like thieves with how profitable and how popular these movies are. Now, some of them have done good things with that notoriety, and others, I won't say who, unfortunately haven't, or they've squandered it, or they've let the popularity go to their heads, and that's all I'll say there.
Yeah, I haven't caught up.
We know who.
I haven't caught up.
Anyway,
we are at the hour mark almost, and we got a couple more minutes. So before we do start wrapping up, how many people noticed actually, no, this question will have to wait until, I believe it's the first part of the 7th movie. So yeah, this one will actually have to wait for that, because it actually will be more important then.
Yeah.
But before we do go, starting with Lorena, how would you rate the movie from 1 to 10?
I'm being a little gracious because it's the first movie. I would rate it about like an 8.5. I really would. The world building, making it, and this is a stickler for me, making it authentically British. That was my biggest thing. I did not want to hear an American accent. I didn't want to hear a Canadian accent. I wanted to hear British accents, different type of British accents, British customs. You know, the game of Quidditch completely. I loved how different that was. You know, the countryside shots, the 3D chess. No, sorry, wizard's chess. Okay.
Yes.
How they did that was flipping amazing. It just looked like a medieval chessboard, all just all of that. So all of that world building was just excellent. Of course, there's stuff that they learned in the further movies, but I'd give it a solid 8.5. It has great rewatchability. Yeah, you can always pick it up, watch it again, and not be bored.
All right, AFK, out of 10, how would you rate it?
Well, I don't know. I guess I would probably give it an 8 because I almost would go under it just because I'm kind of picky about my ratings. But I don't know. As far as the movies go, it's one of my more favorite. Well, not more, one of the ones I like more, I should say. And I like it, like what Lorena was saying about how it's world building and stuff. It was, to me, it was like an introductory kind of advertisement kind of for the wizarding world in a way, because like if you get around to reading the books or anything, it's like everything that it kind of focused on was exactly what Harry focused on that amazed him in the book. And so like when you see it in the movie, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, and it kind of just draws you in. So like by the end, you know, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, there's gonna be more of this, you know. So I don't know, maybe I'd give it an 8.5 too, because it does a really good job as far as like any series goes of kind of getting you hooked.
Alrighty, Mads, what would you rate it?
Honestly, I'm going with an 8.5 myself. I love how closely it was to the book, where it was almost, they took the entire book and put it right onto the screen. Like the few things that were left out was the kind of stuff only a Ravenclaw would really notice. But sorry, personal joke there. But and even then, it was not integral. It's not like they left out the Ron is our king storyline. Spoilers, sorry. But yeah, the great world building, just like what Lorena said, the great world building, the fact it was British, and that was a big factor for J.K. Rowling, that everyone actually had to be British. That was very important. You know, the treacle tarts, the actual food that they mixed traditional food and made some of it into a more magical stuff. I mean, everyone and their uncle who has watched this has tried to figure out butterbeer. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Ambassador.
Actually, I'm going to let the lady go first, and then I'll go last. So, Moira.
I give it a 7.5 or an 8 because, and the only thing that holds me back from giving it more of a 9 or a 10 is I really wish that his like crafty step family or aunt and uncle really got what they deserved more. You know, they were such jerks to him all his life, making him sleep under the stairs. I really feel like they should have gotten a whole lot more crap than they did.
Oh yeah, I can understand that.
That's
In the books, they actually do.
Huh?
In the books, they actually do. I mean,
okay.
The amount of magical harassment, you could say, that follows them, because in the books, something they don't really touch on in the movie, in the books, they move out of their house, they move to a hotel, they move to all a different bunch of places, and then they eventually get to that little castle that's on.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, Petunia's supposed to be a blonde in the book.
Yeah.
Just like I said, a lot of little things. That,
Souls and friends.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Later on in the series, Dumbledore actually yells at Petunia, and that's one that I'm sad that did not make it.
We'll get to that one.
I know, spoilers.
I believe it was in the third. Yeah,
No.
I believe it was in the. No, was it the second or third?
It was
No,
much
Fast and
further
Newborn.
down the line. Much further down the line.
No, so Fast and
That's right.
Newborn.
It was Fifth Order of Phoenix.
Yep.
Oh, lost one.
Yeah, I think she was glitching. Well, I'll go ahead. I'll go. Being the ladies have all given theirs, I'll go ahead and give mine. Honestly, I'm going to break with the trend. I give this a 10. I do. I give this movie a 10, and I don't often give a movie a 10. But for me, this hits every one of the check marks of a 10 out of 10 movie. Great cast, great script, great performance across the board.
Motorcycle?
In-depth world building.
It's Hagrid doing a drive-by.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
A stunning sets, great special effects. For me, it's the whole shooting match. This is a 10 out of 10 movie for me. So,
alrighty. And before I wrap up, I'm going to give my official three-way score, because I always judge movies objectively, subjectively, and moviegoer. So objectively, I would put it at about a 7 out of 10. There are flaws. The main problems that I did have with the first movie was the special effects, because they didn't age well. Secondly, the lighting, when there were certain areas that you could tell what was blue screen and what was not, when the kids went to Hagrid to ask who gave him the dragon egg, it's like, yeah, that's a blue screen, and that's a very terribly done blue screen. So, because I have a very autistically critical mind, I am semi-autistic, and it's just something that is very hard to reconcile at times. When you see a flaw in a movie that is so glaringly obvious, and it's like, why couldn't you touch this up? I mean, everything else looks freaking phenomenal, but this is just something that you could have touched up. Now, subjectively, with bias, this movie is around an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, because yes, it's great world building. They stayed consistent with the actors all being British. The magic and whatnot that they did use was very well done. Something that I do want to touch on before we go was with the dragon Norbert. That will actually, sadly, I wish they had expanded on that in the fourth movie, or was it the fifth? But one of the later on movies or books, you actually learn something about Norbert, or rather Norberta, because what you don't realize was she was a female dragon instead of a male dragon, and I actually liked it too. Now,
it was Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, sorry. It was Goblet of Fire, and one of the or moviegoer, where I don't judge the movie with a critical eye, I judge it strictly on entertainment value alone. I will give it a 5 out of 5, because this movie had such great ways of keeping you engaged. The pacing was very well done. And one of the things that I didn't get to say earlier, because we were just so into the conversation, was Ollivander. When I first saw him, his eyes were just so piercing that it's like, this character is important somehow. And it's very interesting. And I really do love the world building aspect of the first movie. I also like the sense of real danger that you can feel with the sequences. I mean, the Quidditch sequences were very well done. The digital Harry Potter, when he falls off his broom, it's like, yikes, but it still makes you think, oh my gosh, is this kid gonna live or die? I mean, really.
Mhm.
And I really did enjoy it. Now, anyway, folks, that is actually going to wrap up our first Harry Potter movie stream. I want to thank all the panelists for coming in, and Mads for filling out the full panel. Thank you for coming in as a special guest.
Thank you for the invite. It was a
And
blast.
Soul Assassin. Yep. Soul Assassin, thank you for plugging all their channels, and I will give each and every one of them another chance to plug their channels before we go. So starting with Lorena.
Hey everybody, I'm Lorena Creole. I give my spicy takes on sci-fi, pop culture, and all things Disney. You can find me on a whole lot of different live streams. So the best way to find out when I'm streaming, one, is to please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button. Two, also follow me on Twitter under the same name. And whenever I have a new video or I have a live stream, I'll let you guys know. I have a live stream coming up on Sunday to celebrate the 400 plus 406 now subs that I have. We're gonna have a great time. It's my Welcome to Florida live stream. And we're actually bringing in an illustrator who is working on a Florida Man graphic novel. So the illustrator is going to be on my live stream Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So thanks again for inviting me on the panel. It's been a great discussion. I love the Harry Potter franchise. Like I said, I'm going to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter next month. So this is like, I absolutely love this discussion.
I'm so freaking envious.
Don't be envious of how much it costs, man.
Oh, I can imagine, but still.
AFK.
Oh, I just gotta say, I am admiring Ambassador's cat back there. It's kind of stealing the scene.
Oh, I just saw it.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter. I have a YouTube, but I don't know. I don't do much with it. I used to a long time ago. And currently I'm doing some Stranger Things reviews if you're interested.
Oh, nice.
I'm on season 2, and the next episodes will be the 3rd and 4th. So there you go. Oh, and it's on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Nice. Moira.
Man, I should have dropped out when I had the chance. All right. I'm Mora Kitty, and I do live streams and like interacting, chatting with you. Oh my God, the kitty! Oh,
She's hiding on. She was pulling on. She was hiding on my feet and pulling on my blanket. That means I want to get in the picture.
That is entirely too cute. But yes, if you want to go check out my channel, go ahead. No, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this.
I will. I'm subbed. So yay. You and the ambassador.
What?
Oh, for the non-book readers, Spew is a bunch of cool house elves.
Oh,
Save the house elves. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Look at something.
Yes, I'm gonna add on. Moira is a wonderful troublemaker. Totally check her stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
You and I have gotten into a lot of mischief together.
Uh-oh.
I will own that. Hey, Mads Mama Bear here. You can find me at Mads Mama Bear on YouTube and also on Twitter. On Instagram, it's Mads Mama Bear too, where I'm starting to, drop teasers about upcoming episodes or shows I'm going to be doing. Wednesdays at 9, you can find me on Comic Chat's channel, where we do the top 5 discussion of the week, whatever nerdy thing we're talking about. And Thursdays, you can find me on the Queen's Council, which rotates every week. And one of my lovely co-hosts is the one that's right above me, Lorena Creole. And we have silence.
And Ambassador.
I was just waiting for my turn. Well, folks, you can find me on YouTube as the Ambassador. You can find me on Twitter as Ambassador Kosh #7. You can find me on Instagram as well under that same handle. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I cover pop culture, modern and retro. I mean, all the cool, funky, far out stuff that you love when you were a kid, I talk about. And to the chat, very briefly, Soul Assassin, I actually have a recipe for a butterbeer frap, and it is actually extremely good. So, yes, I can say that butterbeer is good. And you can actually do a butterbeer coffee drink that's actually hot that's just as good as the frap. So, if that answers your question, I hope it does.
Nice.
But, and in terms of what I've got coming up tomorrow night over on my channel, I'll be having my live stream, the Ambassadorial Wing, and going to be delving into a great piece of pop culture from the 80s. I'm going to be talking, I've got a good panels lined up. We're going to be talking about G.I. Joe and Transformers, the comics, the cartoons, the toys, anything and everything.
Okay, I need to be there for that.
And that'll be at 7:30 Central Time. So if you have not subscribed, just look me up, and you'll usually see this little fella somewhere in the background.
So
My co-pilot,
so
my little furry son, me and Madam Ambassador's little furry son. So, but I want to thank Orange Hat for having me on. This has been a lot of fun, and I want to say to the panel, this is what strong to the entertainment industry. These women on this panel, this is what strong women really look like. This is what strong. This is what strong and intelligent, independent thinking women look like.
Yeah.
Stop, Brie Larson.
Yeah, her ad popped up for me on a YouTube video, and I was very unnerved by it.
And AFK, I just have one. AFK, I just have one question, real quick. Does it say Canada on your cap on your avatar?
It does.
Oh.
Hello, fellow Canadian.
Oh no, I'm actually not Canadian. No, Zebius made the picture for me, and he picked one of the hats that I wear all the time, which is one that says Canada.
Oh, okay. Well, sad day.
Yeah, he's
sorry, but I do love Canada.
Okay.
Anyway. All right.
It's okay. You're not the only Canadian on the panel anyway.
Mama, you are?
And with
Okay. All right, I'm going to shut up now.
All right. And with that, folks, we are going to wrap this up. Stay tuned in 2 weeks when we discuss the second movie, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, hell yeah.
And hopefully we'll have the Gilk Man back and Sean Stackhouse. Lorena should be returning as well as Moira.
Mm-hmm.
And Ambassador, I believe you are one of the rotating, so you should be on that one.
Yeah, unless you boot me.
And with that, folks, stay tuned for next Friday. And anyway, folks, stay tuned for next Friday's versus stream that I do on every 2 weeks, which is going to be this time John Wick versus Jason Bourne.
Wow.
Stay tuned. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, as always. And I'm still reaching out to Altiori to see if she wants to join that one. But so far, I got Lyndon Hall, Drew Taylor, the Supreme Heretic,
yes,
and a few others to join. And so, yeah, definitely stay tuned for that one. It's going to be one hell of a versus stream.
All right.
Anyway, folks, thank you for all tuning in. I want to thank all of the people in the chat: Thomas, Gilkey, Soul Assassin, Eliu, Hernandez, or the panelists who are also in the chat. AFK, Mads,
We're lurking out there.
and many others. Let's see here.
Mongo's big think.
I don't want to accidentally knock myself out of the chat. So, Mongo, thank you for showing up. Yep,
ABC
Mongo's big
stopped by
thanks.
too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we had a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
ABC, what an ass, what a bitch, what a cock. Amelia Skywalker, thank you for showing up.
Oh, Snowdub was in here too.
Yep.
Who else? Snowdub, thank you for showing up. Yeah, I'm scrolling up slowly. The Austinator, Subhuman, thank you guys for showing up. This is how I stay humble, folks, because I always thank everyone who shows up to my streams. Because you guys are my foundation, like I always say. You got to stay humble if you really want to be a great YouTuber. And each and every one of these panelists are very humble. They engage, they stay, or they talk with their panelists. They also talk with their chats. And it's truly a great community. Anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in. And if you catch this on the replay, you all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts of what you think of the first movie of Harry Potter universe. Did you like it? Did you not like it? How would you rate it? All that stuff. And anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble. And my end broadcast button is not. Okay. There we go.